Welcome to another iOS Ham Radio App Thursday. I'm Eric, call sign N1JUR, and this is where I download and review iOS Ham Radio apps so you don't have to. And, today we're going to get our SOTA Goat on, maybe be on time with HamClock, and we're going to try to figure out where I put my satellite with SATNOGS. So let's get into it. Like I mentioned, we are going to dive into 3 new apps. A couple of them are paid, so I'll let you guys know as we go through the process which ones are paid and which ones are free. But so our first app I'm going to bring to your attention is the HamClock app. So if you've never downloaded this before, we're going to head over to my phone here and check it out. Now, this is a paid app. Now, for what it offers, the 99 cents, you can debate with the developer whether or not it's valuable enough. But again, I download these apps and I pay for them myself, so you don't have to, and you can come and check out whether or not it's useful. So this app, like I said, is HamClock. So maybe you're one of those newer ham operators or you're a seasoned one, and you haven't built or maybe purchased one of those geochrons or a time ham clock for your shack, or maybe you're an avid portable operator and you're looking for some app that can provide you all of those details that you might need when you're doing logging or on an activation, and you need, like, say, maybe a grid square quickly. This app might solve that problem for you. So if we dive over to phone here, as you can see within the display, it's pretty, self-explanatory. There's no features, there's no options, there's no settings. You're given UTC time, you're given local time, and you're given 24-hour time. So you have all those 3 options based off of your current time zone on your phone. Sunrise and sunset, I think, is a great feature to have, especially, if you're trying to activate parks and you want to know whether or not you're in the late shift or not, for those that do know what the late shift is. And it gives you the coordinates and grid square of where the current waypoint is. So we'll zoom in here on the map a little bit. And if we want to, obviously find our actual location here, we can pull it up and we can keep zooming in, and it'll keep drawing us closer until we get into the actual spot that we're in. And it gives you the lat and longitude as where that waypoint is. So if I move that waypoint over to here, say go to center Concord, it's telling me what that lat and longitude is currently in that time place. It also does a little bit of the calculations. So if you start to, go west or whatever, you can get better, better coordination. But ultimately, it's a very simple app, and it's really good if you're a paper logger out in the field, or you may not have cell phone access for one of your loggers and you need to gather simple things like your grid square or time or whatever, and you need to log that appropriately. If you orient the phone in a landscape mode, it basically just gives you a wider clock time, and it displayed in a very simple, easy format. So you could set up an older phone on your desk as, say, maybe a HamClock there, and it'll run until the cows come home. And so that's HamClock. Again, links are in the description below if you want to download it. It's a 99-cent app. In my mind, it's debatable, but it's a good app either way. So you can head over to the App Store and pick that up. Our next app tonight is an app called SOTA Goat. Now, those that know my channel and know me, I'm a big POTA guy. I haven't done much SOTA actually at all on my channel yet, although it's one of the many things that I probably will eventually do as I continue on in my ham radio journey, but doesn't hinder me from picking up an app and figuring out whether or not it's going to be useful for me in the future. So we're going to talk about SOTA Goat. Again, the link is in the description down below. So if you want to go over to the iOS App Store, you can pick it up there and search for SOTA Goat. It is a paid app. It's $2.99. It's well worth it if you're a SOTA person or looking to be a SOTA person and you're looking for an app that gives you kind of everything you need that works with SOTA Watch. So we're going to dive into that app right now and take a look at what it offers here. So we're going to flip here. Okay, so with the SOTA app, or SOTA Goat app itself, you do need, in order for it to function and be useful to you, you need to head over to the SOTA Watch website It's the similar to kind of how we have our POTA app website itself. It's a great resource for all the SOTA spots worldwide, and you can create a free account and get that set up for you. It's relatively a couple of minutes to get done. Once you do that, then you're going to head over to the app itself. We're going to go into the settings section here, and you're just going to go into the SOTA Watch platform, sign in with your username and password. And if you got two-factor authentication, you log in with that. There are a number of great kind of tools or options to tweak in the system. You can go in and change your alert sound effects. You can change how it previews on your notice dashboard on your phone. And you can send yourself a text notification just by simply clicking the button, and you'll see that pop something up right on your display. So very well designed, very intuitive in terms of being able to get your features set up on how you want the app to behave. Once you've done that, you can go in and, use the tool to obviously create spots when you're out and about, as long as you have cell service where you're at. One thing I would do, obviously, when you first get the app is you're going to click that Update Summit database. That database is always updated from time to time. So I would say if you're using this as a SOTA Summits on the Air person, before you leave and get out of, cell coverage area, download that database or at least do an update on it. That way you'll have the most recent data and everything that you might need to be able to either create a spot or go find a summit that you have or haven't activated. And then once you've done all that, you can go in and tweak a couple other things. But ultimately, let's just dive into kind of the functionality of the app. So first thing you do is going to click on the summits option, and you'll see that I've already been zoomed in here because I was kind of fooling around with it a little earlier. It's obviously going to find your waypoint based off of where you're roughly located. And in here, you can go up into the options screen. You can set the type of map type you want. So hybrid, regular standard maps, and a mix of both. You can show the gray line if you prefer, and just by turning them on and off by toggle, which is nice. And you'll find that obviously the database is quite huge. So, it's not going to display all the pins and wayward points at this type of, level in the zoom map. But what you do is just scroll down and drill down into the menu until you finally get the points to show up. And you can tell that database is quite huge. And you can just go drill into a certain area, find a pin, find an activity. And, once you're in it, you can basically just click the info button and say I have a certain mountain. In this case, it happens to be Mount Deception, which I'm not familiar with in the area. But it is phenomenal in the sense of it's pulling all of the same data. So this is exactly like if you're a POTA guy and you've very much, used the POTA app, this is the same thing. Very good information, tells you how many people have activated it, the coordinates of the actual physical location of the mountain peak, where its grid square is, how and what it's associated to in terms of the areas of the mountain peaks, its regions. And then it gives you a lot of more information outside of that. So you can drill into the SOTA data page, which is phenomenal because this stays updated. So it is really, really feature packed in the sense that if you're trying to figure out where and what you want to activate, or what you want to, what peak you might want to tackle next, you can do that. And then at this point from here, if you're on this mountain and you want to do a new spot, you can just simply do new spot, put in your frequency, put in your data, and boom, it'll send that spot information if it has cell service to that location. You could probably, because I'm, again, just making an assumption, but, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments below. I assume when you're on the way to making that summit activation, you can do this when you have some cell service at the base of the mountain, and then get your spot up there if it doesn't work. You can also set new alerts, which I think are phenomenal. So if I wanted to set an activation time, or I wanted to send, the details, similar to kind of how we have the activation page on a POTA.app. This follows that kind of same suit. And then you've got the star option to be able to make it a favorite if you're going to kind of plan for your future, mountain experiences here. The other thing I really love is that I can start tracking and I can show this actual physically on a map. And it's got some great email features to other topographical type tools and things of that nature that you can import and export from the tool. And that's all contained within SOTA Goat. The other things is obviously here's a list of spots that are currently happening for this day. And you can drill into any one of these. You can then, find out what frequencies the operator or the activator's using, any of the other, details like how many times has the peak been activated, where it might be located, and so forth and so on. And again, all the same tools are still there as a functionality for you to be able to make it your favorite, to be able to send it off to another app, to be able to create an alert from it. And it's amazing. And then the alerts page, you can go in here and check out any of the alerts. You can reduplicate some of the alerts and delete them as you need to, or manage them as you need to. And then trackers are a really good feature. Now, this is in essence, if you're on the way I understand it and the way I've been playing around with it, is that if I'm looking for, say, a summit in the area that I'm on or near, I can easily drill down here really quickly, and we'll pick something close by. We'll say this one, whatever. This one's Joe English, like I did. I can then say that this is the closest hill to me. It gives me a nice, easy compass. I can post a self spot from here. I can show it on the map. The tool is really, really versatile, very well designed. There's been a lot of effort put in from the developer community on this, and I'm pretty impressed with it. So in essence, I'll be glad to have this when I go out and do my first SOTA attempt, and we'll see where it goes from there. So hopefully I'll get a video on the channel soon about that, but that is SOTA Goat. Again, it's $2.99, but in my mind, it's a well worth $2.99 because I'm sure it helps the developer continue to maintain and make this app even better. The last app for this episode is SATNOGS. For those that you might not be familiar with SATNOGS and the SATNOGS project, I'm going to kind of give you a little primer on it. But ultimately, this app is a view-only type app and more of an informational app itself. And again, it's free, so there's no loss there out of your wallet. But you can head over to the SATNOGS.org website to find out more about the project and its purpose and what its benefits are. But in a nutshell, SATNOGS is a project that was created for the purposes of satellite owners and organizations that are dealing with the challenges of maintaining and keeping satellites up and running and figuring out their performance and whether or not the onboard systems and things of that nature are, working as expected. And, from that, what was born is this program that allows amateurs to be able to set up small little nodes within the larger network that allows their devices to just listen constantly for satellite passes that may pass over their area, and that data gets read in and then fed into the larger network to allow satellite operators to find out what kind of how far their satellites are being picked up on and where they are kind of in their trajectory and a whole bunch of other related information. So it's a great program. You can get your own little node set up in the network just by following some of the project details there and their software and getting all that set up. So if you're interested in satellites and you're interested in supporting those types of efforts, you can check all that information out at the SATNOGS website. But when it comes to the app itself, let's dive over there and just take a quick look at that. All right, so with the SATNOGS app, you are presented when you first get into it, and it's all free. There's no logins required, and there's nothing you have to do in terms of tweaking the software. It's all available here. You can easily just drill down based off your geographic area and find any waypoints or pins that have already been created of nodes. And in it, you can drill down a little further. So if we were looking at, say, this node in Laconia, we can find out, where it's physically based, who the owner is of it, how many observations it's picked up. And an observation really is, okay, has a satellite flown over in their general direction? Have they been able to hear it? What information were they able to gather from it? So forth and so on what frequencies. And it's really a great system to be able to feed the larger network for the satellites as a whole. And in it, there's data, there's other telemetry information that you can look at as a viewer, and you can, find out what observations were pulled, so forth and so on from the list. And it's, like I said, it's an ongoing process. You can also find out, how is the antenna set up in terms of that actual SATNOGS implementation, when it was created, how long it was seen, so forth and so on. And again, the database is very huge and it's always growing. There's always new nodes being added, and you can see as I drill out and, basically keep pulling away, there are a lot of nodes both in the US and worldwide that have been deployed. So, and the program, I'm sure, keeps growing more and more as people get more interested in satellites and being able to help out You can go into observations if you want to find out, you know, how a certain, say, satellite has been doing. You can go in and look at the data based off of what's been pulled on these SATNOG. And then all of that information then feeds into the ground stations. You know, how are certain ground stations, either by frequency or performing? You can do a quick search against the list, or you can just scroll through here real quickly and pick a certain satellite. So like, say if I wanted to look at, let's say of AO91 in here, or AO95, these are ground stations in essence. So if I go over to observations, you'll probably be able to find the right satellite. So we'll go here. So AO95, so if we want to take a Fox 1, we can see what frequencies it's currently sitting on, what it tracked, what its path was, by degrees, and then any of this other additional frequency data if there was stuff pulled from that. And then under the satellites, you can actually physically go in and view specific satellites. So if I wanted to go find, let's say, we'll pick one here. We'll do the AIM one for whatever reason. It's not obviously not like a whole useful information, but the downlink information, where it might have been in, who's observed it, so forth and so on. You can find that data here. And it lists a lot of satellites here that are currently in part of the program and what the nodes are being picked up on. SATNOGS as a whole is a great program. I encourage you to head over to that website, take a look at that, learn a little bit more about it. And if you decide to get a node up, you know, drop it in the comments. Let me know if you actually have one. I'm always interested in seeing how people get involved in these programs and you know, what you might have learned from it that you can share with the rest of the community. So that is SATNOGS, and that is our last app for the night. Hope you enjoyed HamClock, SOTA Goat, and SATNOGS. You can always find all the links for these and download them in the description below. They're all available on the App Store. As I said before, those that are paid have, you know, I've disclosed those amounts and I've downloaded them. So again, you don't have to. And if you have any comments about any of these apps or an app you maybe want me to check out, you can always send me an email at n1jur.nh@gmail.com, or you can leave it in the comments below and I'll make sure to get it into my next iOS Ham Radio Apps Thursday episode. So hope to see you next Thursday. And again, as always, again, appreciate all my patrons and the community. And if you'd like to be a part of any of that, you can always head over to my website at n1jur.com and click the Patreon or buy me a beer links. And those are also located in the show notes below. And anything that I might have shared on here, you can definitely find in the description. And as always, you can check out the entire playlist of all my iOS ham radio apps. And that's in the description at the very end or up top. And with that, thank you again, and 7-3.